Hi and welcome to the first in a series of videos about my solo project Consider Suicide. And today I'm going to talk to you about the beginning and how it was started and how it changed and the thoughts behind it. And in the coming videos I will share with you information about the individual albums and releases, what I've been doing between those albums and what you can expect from the project in the future and how you can support me to make more releases. With that, skål! We're often out on walks, me and my friends, when I started being active in some bands with other people, because I usually compose everything myself for my own projects, and by nature I'm a very solitary and introverted person. I can be outroverted too, when necessary. And during the time of recording the albums Sköld and Rakbladsvalsen with hypothermia, and when we started to work on the first album of Life Lover Pulver, was when I, on a walk with Jonas, bought my first portable tape recorder and field recorder, which we used to record some of the samples on the Pulver album. But I also used it to record a lot of ambience and nature sounds on my walks in forests the years after that. And I have a big collection of sounds from different walks in different forests and just general countryside. And I felt inspired by some minimalistic found sound and ambient artists to create something that wasn't connected just to metal or black metal, but not just piano or guitar either, and not just field recordings, but a combination of them. Because sometimes a guitar piano by itself can be very beautiful and calming and relaxing and meditative to both perform and experience and listen to. But I feel that it's a bit more interesting if there's something else, just very subtle in the distance going on in the background. And that's before I started to learn about how to use different recording tools and effects pedals, mainly designed for guitar, but you can make amazing things with them for piano and recording pretty much anything. And that's something I will talk to you about in another video, because if I don't divide it, this will be several hours long, and the cheap camera that I have to do for this is just the bare necessity what I could afford at the moment to record something better than just a basic webcam, pretty much. I thought it would be better, it looks better on the screen, but I don't have the knowledge or equipment to for the moment to make this better than what this is. but I know it's possible, and I will make sure it happens in a not too distant future. So what I want to talk to you about today is what's going on right now. And I've recorded a second part of the Nut Melancholy series, which I wasn't satisfied with, so I need to re-record that. The problem is that we no longer share our rehearsal space and studio with the same band, so I don't have access to their Rhodes piano, which they kindly let me borrow during that recording session. So I need to save money to get a new piano. And I require a very specific sound. It's not just about what I'm giving you as a recording. I know people can do that through programs, but I can't. I work in a more primitive way. I need to hear a certain sound to be inspired at all to record the music. I can't hear a bad sound and know that it can be made into something else later. That doesn't work for me. I need to hear what I'm giving you immediately. It needs to be a live experience. But during that session, about a year ago, I made a start of another series called Winter Melancholy, which you can obviously guess what that means. And I recorded 4 songs, only 2 of them are good enough to share for the moment, so that will be released as an EP in a few months, or within a few months, sooner than later. But before that, in March, at the end of March in 2019, I will release the next album, which is called Gudalik. And it's a real word, but it's also a play on words, because I like to use the Swedish language in different ways, and if I can add some depth, I will try to. And if you translate it a bit more roughly, it means divine or godlike, but it also means the corpse of God. It was recorded at the same recording session in Vemel with my friend Dea as we did Alltid Alena, which actually was supposed to be a double album when I made it here, when I composed it. But when we started to record it, it felt like it was enough as it was when we had finished the first 8 songs. And also the material that was chosen for the second disc, which is now the next album, Gudalik. It felt more interesting and natural to have some different effects on it. And after we finished the first song, it really felt like it had an energy of its own and a new line that we explored with the project. And I'm very, very satisfied with it, and very happy to have made this collaboration with my friend, because he brought out something different in this band and project that I couldn't do myself. Well, I could do it as a musician, but I didn't know it was there. But he heard it or saw it, he found it, and now it's there. So I really look forward to sharing this with you. It's a 3-song album, and it's more down-tempo and a bit more ambient and atmospheric. It's guitar and piano based, so most of what you hear is guitars, but we're using some layers of effects, so it sounds a bit more like organs. But we also use a nice piano on that recording, and there's the drums too, of course, but no vocals. It's so far what you're hearing from Consider Suicide is instrumental. I've made songs with vocals, but that's for a split album with my friend Alex, who is the bassist in Hypothermia and Cal, as well as Craft. And that's something we'll talk about in another interview and the video that we're planning. Not the split itself, but I will talk to him about a couple of things. And maybe some other people as well. But back to Gudalik, or back to Consider Suicide. As I said, I started it more than a decade ago, but it's not until the last 5 or 6 years that I've been active in releasing something with it. And that's because the piano tracks that I recorded about a decade ago I wasn't really satisfied with. They felt a bit too raw, and they were not really finished. They lacked something, they needed something more. And that's one of my problems and issues when I'm recording by myself, that no matter how long I work on a song, it keeps growing, or sometimes shrinking in the amount of channels that I decide to use. But I don't really feel, it's rare for me to feel that it's finished, so I usually continue on another song or just throw it away. Most times I throw it away. That applies to most what I do. If you see a painting from me that I post a picture of, usually I've thrown away 5 or 10 other paintings during the same painting session and process. Of course, sometimes I'm lucky, and that's how I was able to restart and reignite that flame, which is Considered Suicide, when I had lost contact with one of my friends, Johannes, who was a guitarist for some years in Hypothermia, and then he had other goals and priorities in life, so he did what he did and needed to do, and we'll make a video with him in the not too distant future too, talking about the past of Hypothermia and also his role as helping me to record with Consider Suicide. He helped me record both Sväva and Vartofta, where he plays the bass and also helps me to do all the recording, and helps me with the drums and things like that to make a complete recording of a song. And between 2006 and 2014. There was obviously a lot of thoughts in my mind, and I had a lot of experiences in my life which made me think about life in a different way. But the name Considered Suicide was already decided in 2006. It's something I felt very, very strongly. And unfortunately too many people make the mistake of reading it and taking it as it is. And I don't blame them personally. I think it would be impossible for the majority of them to be that ignorant, because some people just read the headline and react upon that, or that pre-decides what they will feel or think about the rest of the article that they will read. But if you're a reasonable person, you usually read the whole article before you make up your mind. And if you have some kind of intellect, you also question the source of that information and probably read a few more articles about the subject if it's something that speaks to you, especially if it disturbs you or makes you feel something. If it interests you, or if it concerns you, if you feel it can affect you as a person, or your life, or someone you know, someone you care about, you will read more articles about it before you make some kind of wave about it, before you react, before you scream. You can't cry wolf over a headline. You need to dive deeper. You need to be in that meadow. You can't just watch from a hill and see a scary shadow from a bush. Well, you could, but you shouldn't. And the lack of nuance is something that bothers me a lot in how people communicate. And that's why I also chose something so rough and raw, so direct and so confrontational. Because I'm not a confrontational person, but I could be, and I can be, if I need to. And that's where this comes in, this project and this philosophy that it builds upon. Because I think it's ridiculous and very counterproductive to just tell people that yeah, you're probably not a useful or productive citizen in this world. You should probably not waste air by breathing. You should do something about it. And there are some bands in heavy metal and black metal that are lazy. And I'm not going to say what they tell their fans or followers or people in the world to do, but I think it's very short-sighted and lazy, and that's why I just felt, well, I trust my audience and the people of the world in general to think for themselves to some extent, some more than others. So I'm not telling you what to do or what to think, but you can think about it, consider it. So it's a word that I've taken a liking to. Because even if you don't really believe in something, you can still consider it. But when it comes to suicide, that obviously stirs up a lot of emotions in people. I know people that have killed themselves, a lot of people do, and often you feel disheartened and betrayed in some way, that you were not able to talk to them in your conditions. But that's not what it's about. It's about them, it's about the other person. So that's what this is about. What I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I want to share. Because just as suicide, it's without compromise. For the person thinking about it, can be a long journey, just as what I'm doing. I've taken almost 2 decades to reflect upon this. And before I take my final steps in maybe some more decades, I never know. The world is a changing place and I'm a changing person. And that's why I want to share this video with you, because I'm not satisfied with people judging a long journey based on a name or a headline. What I'm sharing, experiencing and creating is much more than that. And suicide isn't simple, it's very complicated, just as life. Living it and ending it is not as different as you may think. There's many parts to build that machine. And when it comes to not making compromises, that's something that I used to believe in. But of course, with life you have to find the middle in everything. And if you're really depressed, if you can't see colors, if everything is black or white or grey, for that matter, that middle doesn't really make sense or concern you. And you as another person are not the right one to judge. But I really like the term consider, because it can be so many things. Even if you are not really interested in something, or if you really don't want to do something, you could at least consider it. If it's for your personal development, your career, or someone you love, or at least care about. If it's something you thought you wouldn't be able to do, or wasn't interested in doing, you may or should consider it. And that's an aspect of this journey, because it's important to think about all the different aspects that makes a picture. It's more than one color, it's many nuances. Just as life, a person is more than what you're seeing and experiencing, or what you're reading from them. Being it in a social encounter or through social media. Two vastly different things, or vast differences. English is my second language, so I hope you have an understanding that my pronunciation or knowledge about different words are not perfect, but I'm doing my best as a Swedish person. But I'm meeting you in the middle, so let's see you there. And for me, consider suicide, that doesn't mean that someone should end their existence, but thinking about it is a way of checking yourself, your progress in life and your values, and your output and outcome, to self-evaluate what you're doing in this world, how you are affecting yourself and others, and your goals if you're meeting them, what you can do to improve. It's about following your heart and chasing your dreams, to do your best. To look for options rather than objections. There is so much in this life where you may think that you need to be pretty much a different person to be able to even come near doing some of the things that you're seeing around you. But actually you can come a long way just by being stubborn and open-minded, which also doesn't always go hand in hand. It could. Just as many things that you may feel are opposites. Like embracing life and thinking about suicide. You can do both. I know I can. So please just don't react upon a headline. Don't just read an article and base your opinion upon that. There is so much more nuance in this world. And if you have a dream, you shouldn't just end because someone has a different opinion than you, or that you're in a part of the world or a part of your life where that's not possible. Well, have patience. If you have it in the back of your head and you keep envisioning it and dreaming of it and doing what you can as a person, even 1% of effort a day will be better than none. Just start that journey in some way. Because I'm not a futilist. I believe in doing what you can and what you have to do to get by in this world. And it's not easy. My life is definitely not easy, but I don't wear the robe of a victim. I'm not interested in doing that. I rather suffer. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's a part of life, it's a natural part of life, and some people can handle more than others. And I'm up for the challenge. But you need to just reflect, take your time. I know I could make this video a third of the length with jump cuts, but that's not me. I speak and reflect. I care. just doing this is against my nature, but to me it's more important to have this interaction with you than being comfortable. I always consider what I can do, not just for myself but for others. That's what my art is. It's a tool for meditation, and that's all. You know, all the times when you're not sure about what you should listen to when you're relaxing in your couch or reading a book, that's where I come in. Because I felt it was necessary for all the times when I don't know what I should listen to, instead of having quiet and looking through my collection of albums, I'll just put on that. That is considered suicide. It's the possibility within something that you may not consider. Thank you for listening, and see you next time. Cheers. Skål. And remember, if you're interested in more content like this, or if you want to ask me something about the details of what I'm saying, I'm glad to go more in depth. Or if you're interested in what I'm drinking, this is a wine of red currants I made 6 years ago. If you're interested in how something like that is made, or how you can make it for yourself, which is legal in most countries in this world, let me know. I'll gladly tell you more about it. And if you want to know more about my life, it can be anything pretty much, let me know in the comments for this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels that we have. Follow us on Facebook at A Symphony to the Void, or our Patreon, which is the same name, where you will get some exclusive content and also access to Q&As before other people, and you'll be able to ask me things there as well. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to talk to you more soon. Skål.